Hello, my name is Jason Pareo, and today I will be speaking about a horrible crisis plaguing the agriculture industry. To start, let me pose a question. How many farmers would you say take their own lives annually in just the United States? 1,000? 3,000? No, the sad truth is that 10,281 farmers took their own lives in the United States in just 2019. This is a sad number, and it reminds us of how important farmers are to the world. One of the best pieces I have heard of farmers was written by the great Paul Harvey. To quote part of his speech, "And on the eighth day God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer." God said, "I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board." So God made a farmer. God said, "I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt, watch it die, dry his eyes, and say maybe next year, and who, in planting time and harvest season, will finish his 40-hour work week by Tuesday noon." So God made a farmer. I love this speech as it shows the true strength of a farmer, the qualities in which one must possess in order to keep a farm running, the strength a farmer must continually have in order to face the day-to-day tasks that can be extremely difficult. As much as I love this speech, and I think it is true of every farmer that I know, I must say that it also leads to the fact that we will never think of how hard days can take their toll on a farmer. What happens when you go to a field with 4-foot-tall corn after a hailstorm, see it all ruined, but know that that feed was all you could afford for your cattle this year? What is the thought day after day during drought season, where cows can't find food and crops won't grow without the rain? How do farmers continue to face each day with these circumstances? We always see and think of the strengths of farmers, but what about the weaknesses they face in the situations that are out of their control? Do we ever hear of them needing help for mental health? Do we see commercials and advertisements reaching out to the farmers of the world and begging them to seek support for the hardships they face on a daily basis? Every day, people buy food from grocery stores. As we fill our shopping carts with produce, it is easy to overlook who made all of that possible: farmers. There's another aspect of farming communities that's easy to overlook: farmers' mental health. How might one say farmers are so strong, yet talk about the growing number of farmers committing suicide every year? A study done by the CDC in 2020 showed that farmers were among the most likely to die by suicide in comparison to other occupations. Researchers at the University of Iowa found that farmers had the highest suicide rate of all occupations from 1992 to 2010. Statistics show that in Australia, one farmer dies by suicide every 4 days. In the United Kingdom, one farmer a week takes their own life. And in France, there's one agricultural suicide every 2 days. Here in the United States, in 2019, the number is around 10,281 for the year. That is close to 28 suicides every day. Research done by students at Cal Poly showed that suicide rates in agriculture are 5 times higher than the national average. So why? Why are farmers and those in agriculture turning to suicide at such alarming rates? One study shows that in 2019, farm debt was at an all-time high, amounting to over $416 billion. The study showed that half of all farmers have lost money every year since 2013, and the number of farmers unable to pay their loans is rapidly increasing. Farmers deal with so many things outside of their control: market instability, weather, U.S. milk supply, trade disputes, family relationships, natural disasters, and some days just plain old calving disasters. Written in a March opinion column in St. Cloud Times, it is noted, times have not been good for farmers over the past several years. Many have compared it to the farm crisis of the 1980s. Many think the situation now is much worse than 40 years ago. When you're faced with so many different aspects of hardships, it can easily amount to be overwhelming. And without a place to go talk and seek help, it is causing many farmers to think their only option is to end their life. It is hard to get lawmakers to take action on implementing policies to assist with the high number of suicides targeting farmers. In 2008, a portion of the Farm Bill was set to go to creating a national crisis hotline and regional counseling services. The $18 million program was created, but never funded by Congress. If we do not begin to show support on the mental health crisis affecting farmers, who will provide for the world? How do we feed nations when we cannot openly talk about the suicide crisis in agriculture? How do we ask farmers to continue to face the daily stresses they do if we cannot step up and ask them how their mental health is? I think people know that they have a problem, but they don't always want to talk about it. Surveys showed that 60% of farmers believe that their community and friends would think differently of them if they knew they struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts. It leaves many of them too embarrassed to ask for help before they follow through with these thoughts. The students that conducted the study at Cal Poly agreed that conversations about farmer and rancher mental health must begin to broach taboo topics such as suicide and depression. We need to begin to have lots of conversations of the depressions and the struggles that farmers face, as well as their strengths, to make sure farmers and their families know that they are not alone in their struggles, and to encourage them to seek help from others and from medical professionals. My hope is that by having conversations and speeches as this one I am giving now, we can begin to spread awareness about the struggles that farmers face. I hope that lawmakers may hear statistics and fund programs for suicide prevention and mental health issues in the agriculture community. I know that it is hard for farmers to pick up a phone and call any hotline. The difficulties the agriculture industry faces are unlike any other industry. We need to advocate for counselors who understand the hardships that come with agriculture. Showing support to farmers has to start with people my age and younger. We need to understand where our food comes from and how hard it can be to produce that food. We need to reach out to those in agriculture and let them know that they matter, that their hard work and struggles do not go unnoticed. My generation is growing up talking about mental health, and we need to think of the mental health of the generations above us. We need to be taught of the hardships like the industries like agriculture, and how so many of those hardships are truly out of the farmer's control. Only then will we be able to offer support to our elders. Only then will we understand all that goes on in the agriculture industry. I hope that by the time my generation begins to take over our family farms, we are able to end the embarrassment and the hiding of the mental health crisis in agriculture. Thank you.